Welcome to Thrive in the Mess. I'm your host, Lisa Hutchcraft Whitmer. So, hey friend, welcome to Thrive in the Mess. And today we are going to dive into the topic of walking through life with autism. And I have an amazing friend here, and his name is Logan. Logan, welcome to Thrive in the Mess. I am so happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Lisa. We go way back.
I know. Well, and what I remember when I first met you, I was helping out at the high school, at the junior high one day. And I was kind of keeping an eye on, things in the library. So you kind of just look around every now and then. And there was one time and I saw this student with this great smile, just kind of looking, my way. And there was another time I kind of looked again and that because I think anyone is drawn to a smile, but I love when people smile. Like when I had my teeth full of braces in junior high, and that was back in the day. I'm going to sound ancient. They used to have metal around every single tooth. It wasn't these little dots, And someone even asked me, I remember in 7th grade, she said, "Are you trying to have a seat?" All the metal all the way to the back of your mouth was smiling. And I'm like, I never thought about that. But you still smile. And you were that student who was smiling that day. And I was like, he just has such a joy. And that comes out in someone's smile. And we're just going to dive in because I don't know a whole lot about life with autism. Autism is different for everybody too. I understand some of that. There's different degrees of, I know we know some people and some children and young people with autism aren't very verbal. There's all different high functioning, different words with it, but we're not going to get into all the science of it. I want to know your real life story of just you. And can you just kind of tell us some of your story?
Yeah, of course. I've loved you so long. I love this lady, and I'm so happy to be here today, and I'm grateful that you've asked me to come on. My story all began it came from birth because that's how it happens, but my story kind of began at age 10. I went to a doctor. My mom kind of saw signs growing up, but we kind of put the puzzle pieces together. And then I went to a doctor at age 10, and that day I got diagnosed with autism, and my mother's heart broke because you get that word autism, and we didn't really know a lot about it at that time as we do now. And so, but the doctor reassured her that it wasn't the end of the world. It's the beginning of a beautiful new journey with your son.
Wow.
And so those words kind of changed my mom's life.
That's a good doctor.
Yeah, a good doctor.
Right.
And so she said, okay, we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do from then on. And so, but it has not been easy. It's been very hard and it's been very difficult. There's been a lot of tears. There's been a lot of trials. There's been a lot of advocating for my rights. And there's been a lot of frustration.
What are some of the hardest things? We're talking about mess and thriving, and your smile, you have thriven. I don't think that's right. You have been thriving, but there's hard times when we walk through things.
Yes.
And I know it hasn't always felt like you've been thriving, but can you give an example to someone who might not be familiar with autism? What are some of those challenges? What are the things that cause the tears, cause the hard moments?
Well, there's a lot behind the smile.
Right.
Like depression and suicide and hospital stays and body dysphoria, as I've struggled with through the years. And, as I've said, wanting to end your life. And that all comes with autism, and it all comes with anxiety and OCD, life-threatening OCD, that and days you can't get out of bed, and days you can't feel like you can't go on, and people would be better off without you. And that comes with it. And so it's not a yellow brick road all the time.
Right.
I always say it's a beautiful journey with a few bumps in the road and a major detour,
Right.
but it
Oh,
is a beautiful journey. It's
that's
a
a great
beautiful
description.
life.
Wow. I did hear you say that one time of what you said of a beautiful journey, but with some bumps in the road.
Yes.
And can I just say, I'm very thankful you did not end your life
Thank
because you
you.
are such a beautiful presence, such a kind hearted person.
Thank you.
And we need more people like that in this world. We need more
Thank you.
Logans. And so I know it's been a hard journey in
Yeah.
different ways, but you have encouraged so many people. But we're going to come back to it and the encouraging part. And thank you for sharing just honestly some of the mess and those hard moments,
Yeah.
and I am kind of curious, what was it like when you were a child? If you have any memories of that, and
Hmm.
sometimes it's hard to go back to childhood, but are there certain things that made you feel different,
Hmm.
or, before you got to an actual diagnosis
Hmm.
at age 10?
I remember feeling so lonely as a child
Wow.
and feeling empty
Mm.
and just feeling so different from other kids. And I remember that feeling so when I was real small, having that empty feeling. And I never got invited to things. And I always knew I was different. And I always
Mm.
say, I knew I was different. Now I know why.
Mm.
And you feel that when you have autism, and sometimes that's hard for people to understand when they're not in the same boat as you.
Right.
But I know what these kids and what these adults have lived, and anybody that's different. I don't care if you have autism or any way of life that you're living. I get what being different's like. It's very lonely and it's very hard. But I think as you get older, you kind of accept yourself, and that's a freeing feeling.
Mm.
But I just remember being by myself a lot, wishing that I had friends, and kind of. I remember Mom said the babysitter used to put me in a room with kids, and she would try to get me to interact with them, and I would always go back into the bedroom,
Mm.
and she'd pull me back out again to try to interact with the kids. I'd always go back into the bedroom by myself.
Mm.
So they saw the signs, but they didn't think anything of it back
Right.
then. And there was a lot of sensory issues and a lot of things back then, but they just thought, well, he has brothers, and just not thinking about it. And I think that's what goes on with a lot of parents now. They just don't think about it. They just think, oh, it's just, but really don't think that way now.
Mm.
If it is autism, get it checked out,
Mm.
get early detection,
Mm.
you know.
You do think it is helpful
Yes,
to learn earlier.
very.
And I wonder, from what you're saying, do some people put it off because they don't want to hear that? But it's better to hear it and just dive in and.
I think people put it off because a lot of times people put it off
Mm.
because they don't want to deal with it.
Right.
And that wasn't the case with my mom at
Right.
all.
Right.
My mom helped me. My mom was proud of me, even
Yeah.
if she had a son with autism.
Yeah.
Um, we found the tools to help my life.
Mm.
But
I like that. That's a practical
yes,
help for someone of just finding tools
yes.
for things too. And even some of the things you're talking about, like
Mhm.
sensory, even, do those things ever change? Like as you get older,
Mhm.
I don't know the situation as well. Like if
Mhm.
you were in a room with other children, did you like pulling back a little bit because maybe it got louder or something? I don't know the
Yeah,
various sensory things, but does that change ever, like as a teenager, or you're a young adult, young man?
yeah. Like I think some things change.
Mm-hmm.
Like the loud noises used to get on my nerves,
Mm.
and when my brothers would scream and those kind of things did. But
Which is things brothers do.
yes, which things brothers do,
And sisters do
and
too.
I
I'm a
had
sister.
two brothers, and and stuff like that.
Mm.
But I think sometimes people are too proud sometimes,
Mm.
and they don't want to accept that that their kids are different or they have autism, and so they won't get them the help they need. And I think that's sad.
Mm.
And but I'm not saying all parents are like that, but
But it's just something to keep in mind if there's
yes,
someone who's walking through, maybe seeing
yes, not
signs and
all
all.
parents are like that. There's
Right,
great parents out there,
right.
and there's great parents that are doing the best job that they can, and they're taking care of their kids and everything.
And
But
there's more tools probably
yes,
than
oh
ever
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Even maybe, you said your mom got tools and all. And one thing I want to tell you, you maybe didn't get invited to things when you were younger. I'm sorry about that.
yeah.
But you're invited to my party here
Oh,
on the
I'd come to Lisa's
podcast.
party. I'm at Lisa's party today, and we're having so much fun.
I'm just thrilled to have, when you were excited to
Oh,
just to even, when I invited you, I was like, oh, just your perspective. And I want to jump to that
yeah.
because honestly, I saw something where you talked about, you could say something you wrote, you
Hmm.
could say, God, look what you've done to me. But instead, you've chosen to say, God, look what you've done for me.
Yeah.
Can you just talk a little bit about that perspective, even of, like, I'm sure everyone goes through blaming God for
Hmm.
things, but you chose to flip it and say, look what you've done for me.
Hmm.
Just what's your thinking with some of that, even?
I've never blamed God for
Mm,
anything.
mm.
Every day that I wake up,
That's a choice.
it is a choice. Every
Yeah.
day that I wake up, I thank Him.
Mm.
And I thank Him for autism
Wow.
because that's what makes me me. And,
Wow.
and sincerely, I do. Um, I thank the Lord for another
Mm,
day, every day. And but I'm a very positive person. I
mm,
look at my glass half full instead of half empty. And I wrote that because it was just so important to me to write that because I had a friend and then my other friend, her daughter, has Down syndrome, and she was thinking about, I wish my daughter had a normal life.
mm,
And then she thought about all the things in her life and the decisions she had to make and the bad choices that normal life brought her.
mm,
And so that inspired me to write that, like going through a divorce or having to bury a child or having their first heartbreak and the things that I would like to experience in life and I haven't yet.
mm,
And thinking maybe God's protected me in life that I haven't had to go through those things. And maybe that isn't such a negative thing. Maybe I've been protected because I do have a big heart
mm.
and a big tender heart full of a lot of love.
Right.
And so you pick your battles and and so that's why I did write that because I'm very blessed
Mm,
and autism isn't such a bad thing. It's it's how you look at life
mm.
and I'm very blessed and my life's philosophy is the only disability is a bad attitude
Mm.
and
I heard you say that, like,
yes,
and I was like, that is just to let that soak in a
yeah,
minute, that's a disability a lot of people
yeah,
have
it is,
when we choose a bad attitude, and that is a choice of no matter what we're
yeah,
walking through. So that is really something to think
yeah,
about disability, and the only disability is a bad attitude.
yeah,
Powerful statement. And one thing I've heard you talk about is the positives and the
yeah,
negatives. And the positives, I think you said the positives outweigh the negatives of
mm-hmm,
autism.
yeah,
Oh, that's powerful too. Do you have
yeah.
any like some thoughts about some of the positives? You've already touched on some of these, but are there others you think of that are positive? And then we'll also kind of talk a little bit more about, are there other negatives?
Oh, I think there's so many positives to autism. Um, I think I don't know if I'd be like Logan if there wasn't.
Mm,
I think autism plays a important role in my life every day.
wow.
Um, if I didn't have autism, I probably wouldn't be like I am.
Mm,
You know, And so
And
I'm,
the world needs more people like you, like I
oh,
said.
thank
Well, and
you.
there's even a phrase kind of that you have used of love like Logan,
Yes.
and I couldn't help but think how that's the heart of God too, of loving other people.
Yes.
And one thing I love about when Jesus was on earth was that he loved people who were sometimes the outsiders,
Yeah.
people on the fringes of life.
Hmm.
It is really one of the things I love so much
Aren't,
about
aren't
when he
those your
was on
favorite
earth.
people?
Yes. Well, but the thing is, they're not always like society sometimes doesn't know what to do. Like with
Yes.
Jesus, okay, it was a tax collector, the short
Hmm.
little guy who climbed up in a tree, and we hear his name is Zacchaeus. But Jesus saw him and
Yes.
stopped to talk to him. No one wanted to talk to the tax collector
Hmm.
because they weren't really honest about the taxes. They would steal people's money. Or he
Yes.
cared about the lady who had slept around with a lot of people, and he
Yes.
goes to see her. He made an intentional choice to go talk to her
Hmm.
at a well where
Yes.
she was getting water in the middle of the day. Usually people went in the morning or at night to get their
Hmm.
water, but she avoided that time, probably
Yes.
because all the other ladies were like, "Psst, psst, psst, psst."
Gossiping.
Right. But Jesus shows up to talk to her in the
Yes.
heat of the day while she's
Yes.
getting her. He cares about the people on the fringes and
Yes.
outside of life. And I love that. And so I see that that's God's heart
Yes.
of loving people and the example that Jesus had for us to live like him in that way.
Hmm.
So I love that of love like Logan, because that is something this world needs more of, because there's so many uh, hard voices,
Hmm.
chaotic voices, and angry voices, and lies that come our way that say we're
Yes.
not valuable or you're not good enough or whatever the case may be. And that's not true. Like God's word, I love the truth where it talks about we are made by God and for God, and we're fearfully and wonderfully made, and you are uniquely you. I love how you've said you would not be you
I
without
wouldn't be me.
autism.
I wouldn't.
Ah,
I don't know
that's
who
just
I'd
beautiful.
be,
Right.
but I truly love people.
Yeah.
And it's all about the people.
Mm.
They've been so good to me, Lisa.
Ah.
I love people.
Well, I love that you encourage people. I
Thank
know
you.
I see things that you share from time to time where I think you literally said, I wrote down, you said recently, you ask the Lord what to do each day.
I do.
And when you do that, what are different things that you end up doing in those days where you're like, okay, God, what do you want me to do today?
Well, every day I ask the Lord to let me bless one person.
Wow.
So
Well, I'm that person today.
you're that person, Lisa. You
You are
are, because I
amazing. So,
prayed for us this
and I'm sure
morning.
you're going to touch other
Well, I
people
say let
today
me
too.
bless one person and
Uh,
as many as I can,
yeah.
but I ask him to lead me, guide me, direct me, use me, let me be a light.
Mm,
But I just ask him to let me bless people because
mm,
I've been so blessed. But just use my story to help people, and he's just been so good to me.
mm.
And we don't know how we're gonna be used in life, um, and we don't know what life's gonna bring us. And so I just ask him to use me. And we all think we have this big purpose in life, but maybe we have a mission.
Mm,
Maybe we don't have a big purpose. Maybe we're on a mission.
mm.
And so,
That's good.
yeah, we sometimes we think we have this big purpose, but maybe we're just on a mission
Mm,
to make a difference. And so I just ask God to lead me,
mm,
give me strength to make it through the day. And so this was the big thing today, but
mm.
um, I just ask Him to let me bless people because I love people and I love Him. I truly do.
And I love what you're saying, because sometimes we think a big purpose and a big mission have
Hmm.
to be some big thing,
Yes.
and it has to make it on the news or make the
Yes.
headlines. But it's all these little actions that are sometimes unseen. Now,
Yes.
God always sees those actions,
Hmm.
but when maybe an unseen moment where you're encouraging
Yeah.
someone and just speaking life to them
Mm-hmm.
or love to them, and or just encouraging them. You said as we were walking into here to record, you probably said about 3-4 encouraging things to me, and I'm like, wait a minute, no, I'm trying to encourage you, but you encourage, and like we can just have, we're not having an argument, but you encourage, no, you encourage, so you're, it's like, but that's a beautiful thing that doesn't come out of people naturally all the time.
Oh.
And God's given you such a beautiful heart with that, which is just amazing because it just flows right out of you
Well, I
very
mean it,
naturally.
and I've always been the cheerleader for people.
Yeah.
I love cheering people on.
I did not bring pom-poms for you
Well,
today.
shoot.
But I love that you can be the cheerleader without the pom-poms because people need that.
Well,
They need to know
you should
someone's in their
support
corner.
people. I mean,
Yeah.
we should support people, lift people up. We shouldn't. I don't know how people can't.
Right.
If you love people, you should support them and just cheer them on. So I'm always rooting for you, Lisa.
You are so kind-hearted with that. And I do think sometimes life gets so hectic
Yeah.
and people in our lives can get forgotten or pushed to
Yes.
the side because of a checklist or things.
Yeah.
But I love that that's an intentional choice for you
It is.
each day. And yeah, we may have some days where we don't feel well or
Mm-hmm.
like whatever, or we just have other things going on, but it's an intentional choice to say, I want to bless someone, touch someone's life today.
Yeah.
And that's powerful because all those things add up to, that might be the one thing that person hears that day. It might be the only encouragement they ever hear.
Mm-hmm.
You just
You
never
never know.
know. Do you ever hear stories like that back from people? Those are, if someone asked me that, I don't know that I could come up with an answer that quickly, but do you ever hear stories from people like, Logan, wow, you said something at that moment?
I get messages all the time.
I bet.
And I get messages. I haven't given up because of you. I got that the other day.
Wow.
And that just warms my heart. Or my son is the best thing ever in my life. He has autism. And I find that these parents are just as proud of their autistic kids as any parent would be of their non-autistic kids. So it doesn't matter if their kids have disabilities or not. They're just as proud. But I get messages all the time that you bring hope to my family. And those are the messages, and those are the things that make it all worth it. And that means the most to me, that I've touched people's lives, that I've made a difference. And so everybody out there, I do look at your messages, and they mean so much to me. And you mean so much to me. But I get a lot of messages and such kind hearts from people. And stories people whisper in my ear and share to me all the time.
Well, you've poured into a lot of lives, and I also can't help but think of, also in God's word, there's a verse that talks about, he who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. And I love that because you're pouring out to other people, but then they say something back to you. So you're encouraging them, refreshing them. I always view that word refresh as like giving a cold glass of water, or something when it's on a really hot day,
Yes.
And so like you're refreshing someone else, but then they're refreshing you back,
They
kind of
are.
giving that cold cup of water back,
Yes.
when they say something back about, this is what you've done in my life and how you've encouraged me. So I just feel like that's really powerful to even think that way of loving like Logan. And though it's love like Logan, let's keep it shorter.
I like that too.
Love like that.
It
It's
never is taken for granted.
Yeah.
It never goes unnoticed.
Yeah.
And I'm always appreciated. I'm always appreciative of it. And I've been blessed times 10, as I always say. I have
Wow.
been so blessed.
That's another just great perspective. And I do like that, just another pulling something out of choosing to have a good attitude in the middle of everything. I do want to jump back to, are there things now that you're older, a young man excuse me, or through teenager years even, where you've talked about there are still things hard. There are
Mm-hmm.
things that you would like to have happen, but that haven't had happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I like you also have another important intentional choice you've made, which is gratitude, like being thankful.
Yes.
And that's why you wrote this beautiful thing that you shared.
Yeah.
And about, I may not have experienced love, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm thankful I haven't had heartbreak, different
Yes.
things like that. But what are some of like the harder things like that, if you don't mind sharing,
Mm-hmm.
just some of the, I wish this is a dream of mine, but it,
Mm-hmm.
it does hurt. I haven't had that yet.
I'm trying to think, like not having kids,
Right.
but I'm not done yet. I could still have kids.
Right, right, right. You're
You know,
young.
I'm young. Men
You're
are
right,
young. They're
right. You're
all
right.
for a long time.
That's another choice,
Yes,
though. It's a
that is.
choice
That's a
mentally
choice.
to, right, right.
But let's see. But I'm a big dreamer because I can feel like I can do a lot.
Yeah.
So there's really and I have some dreams that are going to happen soon eventually
Wow.
that I haven't really talked about yet.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No spoilers.
no
Right.
spoilers. So
But I love that though because
yeah,
it's dreams and
it's dreams
everyone.
and
I love that you don't feel limited
no.
because people could say, well, either a parent might say that with their
Hmm.
child of potentially
Yeah.
and not just with autism, but
Hmm.
anything where they might think, well, I don't know that they can do that.
Yes.
Or a child might feel limited, or a young adult might feel limited. But I love that you have dreams. You're not
Yes.
choosing to feel limited. And
Yeah.
I think if we limit ourselves, we are limited,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. It's kind of, I don't mean that to sound confusing, but
Yes.
it's a choice to say, no, I'm not going to be
Yeah.
limited here in
And
this way.
this is my, and it should be, I'm a guy with autism that puts his feet on the floor
Mm.
every day, ready to try again, because I always
Mm.
try. I don't give up,
Oh, I love that.
and
Right.
that's true. And
Yeah.
um,
By the way, if you need a snack, these aren't for
oh,
decoration.
thank you.
So I have those
I
there.
might.
After a little while, I'm like, there.
Thank
We
you,
probably need to
Lisa.
have something. I heard you share something about. Well, I'm going to ask you this instead. What would
Okay.
you say to someone who does not have autism,
Hmm.
but they might know someone who has autism? I think most people in our world today, we know someone who has autism
Uh-huh.
just, of course, different varying degrees of it. But what would you say to someone about, and one of the things that I actually remember you saying is be a friend
Be
to
a
someone with
friend.
autism. But are there other things you might include with that?
Well, everybody will know someone with autism because it's
Mm.
1 in 36 in America.
Really?
And so every
Wow.
family is getting touched by autism. And
Right.
so
Mm.
get to know someone with autism.
Mm.
Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Um, they will change your life for the better.
Mm.
There are amazing people. And not just autism, but people with special needs.
Right. Right.
I just visited Independent Living, and they invited
Uh,
me over, and it touched my heart.
and you spoke
I
there.
spoke
You shared
there.
some of your story.
Yes, and these people are beautiful people, and they're my people. They're my community,
Mm.
and people with special needs have always been close to my heart because I am a person with special needs,
Mm.
and I'm like, if you mess with these people, you're messing with me,
Right. Right.
because they're just. I enjoyed that day so much,
Mm.
and they just want to be seen. They want to be accepted.
Right.
They want to be loved, and they have their lives matter.
Mm.
And so
That's right.
just
Yeah.
get to know these wonderful souls. They're just beautiful. And but every family will be touched by autism in some way in the world. And so just get ready. Just get ready. It could be your child, it could be your friend, it could be, so just have patience. Just have
Right.
patience and have a lot of love.
Mm.
Have unconditional love.
Wow. Yeah. And now, what would you say to someone who has autism?
You're beautiful
Oh,
and you're
wow.
loved and you're perfect the way you are.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to ask you. Could
Yes.
you literally look at that camera and talk to someone? Because I'm sure
Yeah.
there is someone who is like, I don't have dreams.
Hmm.
I don't feel special. I don't feel valuable. But I would love them to hear that directly from you.
You're perfect. You're beautiful.
Mm,
You're worthy. You're loved. And Logan loves you.
mm. And the beautiful thing I love is that I come back to it again. God has made us uniquely us. And that makes us valuable right there. There's another verse in the Bible that talks about how he literally sings over us and like kind of dances over it. He's so proud of us. He
Hmm.
loves us. He values us, and he made us. We're his creation, and that just I'm not an artist, but like a masterpiece. I don't know, the Mona Lisa,
Hmm.
whatever. The artist signs the bottom. And God has signed the bottom with each of us. He signed under Logan, God, you're my masterpiece.
Yes.
Lisa, I'm your masterpiece. I'm his masterpiece. And it's just a beautiful way to go into each day, knowing we're valuable and treasured and loved by God. And I love your
I love that.
challenge to people.
I love that, what you said.
Oh, but we are. It's just that the masterpiece to know that because we all have moments, autism, special needs, whatever.
Hmm.
Even if you don't have a special need, we all have those moments
Hmm.
where just lies or not truth from our culture and from our
Hmm.
world just of not being good enough really scream at us all
Yeah.
the time.
Yes.
And so it's hard we got to turn those voices off of who,
Hmm.
the world, like our whole world thinks we should be, and
Yes.
be like, you know what? I'm unique, one of a kind. And Logan, I just love the example you are to others of and I know you said there must be roller coaster moments,
Yeah.
too, but I really love how you have chosen to intentionally encourage other people and love. To love like Logan. Is there anything else you would say to someone about autism? You know what? One other question before we go. What would you say to a parent? I know we kind of touched on
Hmm.
that a little earlier about early detection,
Hmm.
but is there anything else you would say just to a parent, even when
There,
their child gets that diagnosis?
don't be afraid. Just
Ooh,
buckle up.
oh, that's good.
But you're gonna have a bumpy ride, but you're gonna do an amazing job. And these parents are
Wow,
doing an amazing job. And these caregivers, these grandparents, these fathers,
wow.
and these single mothers,
Mm,
they're doing amazing jobs. And they're the real advocates out there. My mom, she was
mm,
the real advocate. I'm not an advocate. She was.
mm.
And there's some amazing parents and caregivers out there that are doing just phenomenal jobs.
Wow.
And I'm so proud of them. I've met so many of them, and they've shared their stories with me, they've shared their
Mm.
hearts with me, and they love their kids so much. And I'm so proud of them.
While you were talking, I couldn't help but think that's just very powerful for a
Hmm.
parent and any family. But I couldn't, I'd like to know what would you say to younger Logan, like a little when you were a child or a teenager, what would you tell yourself then
Hmm.
that you feel like now? What would you just tell little Logan?
You're going to make it.
Oh my
You're going to
goodness.
make it.
That's so
You're going to
good.
make it, and you're enough.
Wow.
Because I'm stepping into my 30. I'm going to be
Wow.
30 in September, so
Wow. Wow. Well, happy 30th
thank
early.
you. But
Wow. That's
I
awesome.
feel enough now,
Right. Oh,
you know.
mm,
And that's a freeing feeling. I'm just glad I'm still here,
me
you
too.
know. I'm blessed.
Well, anyone watching this, I know, is glad you're still here because
Aw.
we all need that encouragement because you're right. We're all touched by, knowing someone with autism or having autism. So, oh, wow. Well, anything else you would say to anybody,
Oh,
just on this topic, even?
I just love everybody, and I know when I got diagnosed, and Mom said, "Well, what do you think the cure for autism is?" I said, "Acceptance," and that
Wow.
changed everything.
Oh,
And so that's where we said, "Well, now we can move on,
oh,
and we can learn ways to help my life." And so
right. Yeah.
that's the cure for anything and everything and
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
If we can accept things and accept people
Hmm.
and love them for who they are, and love autism is an attitude, and um, if we can just accept people, why can't we just accept and love everybody and accept
Right.
things? And so it worked for me. It'll work for you.
Wow.
So I was young then. So Mom thought, well,
Yeah.
that's pretty profound,
Yeah.
you know.
And you know what? I do believe God, again, has given you such a special heart
Thank you.
and such a, whether it's a heart full of love and encouragement and to think about other people. And one last question. So, how has God encouraged you in this journey and through life?
He's been with me, holding my hand every step of the way.
Mm,
He
wow.
he he's been my rock. He's been my hero. He's carried me. He's why I'm still here. He
Wow.
wasn't done with me.
Mm,
I talk to God every day, and He just says, "Keep going." And so, I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me.
oh,
And
wow.
so,
Is that one of your
that's my
favorite?
favorite.
Wow.
And so, He's just so good to me.
Wow.
And so, my faith has kept me strong. And so,
Wow.
yeah.
Logan, we could probably
Lisa,
keep talking.
we could. We're just
but
gonna
I'm
have to go
like,
hang out sometime.
this is
I haven't
this
seen
is
Lisa
so
in so
good.
long,
I know, I
and
know.
we
Well,
just pick up where we left off, didn't we?
we do. And I just so appreciate your perspective, your joy, your encouragement, your love, and for all different groups of people, practical ways they can look at autism and be involved in the life of someone. And you just gave a lot of great takeaways. And I know you might be hungry now, but
Oh,
I'm going to just thank you again for coming. And friend, I hope you leave encouraged today. I feel like I've learned so much more about
oh,
jumping into this, diving into learning more about autism, because I'm sorry to say, I just haven't known as much. So I'm thankful for Logan joining us. And friend, I hope you'll join me next time on Thrive in the Mess.